Hello, Flosstube. This is Angie. It is Thursday, March 29th. I don't know what day it is because it's spring break. Well, it's supposed to be spring break. It's kind of winter break, actually. My first Flosstube. I hope you'll enjoy and come back and watch. My name on here and Instagram is Bubmie. So if you take my maiden name, Bubala, and you put it with Meyer, my married name, you get Bubmie. Or as Vanna's adorable daughter, Ellie, called me, Bubmie, which I thought was hysterically funny. So because I was teased sometimes unmercilessly as a kid growing up by my last name, Bubala. My first boss started in Bubala, Bubala, Bubala. Hey! He said that to me all the time. So that's okay. I love Bubmie. I live in Illinois. It's a cold, dreary day here today. So what a better day to make a Flosstube video. Nobody's in the house. All the Meyer men are gone, which is good because they would just like be in the background being obnoxious because that's what testosterone does and that's what I live with. I am a speech language pathologist. I work with high school students with intellectual and developmental disabilities. It's the best job ever. Love my students. I'm married, been married to Dave. This year will be 30 years that we've been married. Yes, I was a child bride. I got married when I was 2. And we have 5 boys, ages 26 to 18, or 18 to 26, however you want to go up or down. I've been stitching for a really long time. My mother was a stitcher. She didn't do she did cross stitch early in her marriage, and then she went to embroidery, and she's got some fabulous pieces, which one I have that I'll show in a future video. But she would buy me kits and things as time went on, and I have a couple, and they don't look very good because one was for my mom, one was for my aunt, and they're both smokers, and they're still smokers. No offense to anybody who smokes, but these weren't under glass because they were just little kits. Combination of cross stitch and embroidery, and they were printed kits. So this is the first one that I made my mom. You could see the lovely yellow. But I made this, I probably made this back in, the 70s, early 70s. And when I pulled this out, it's been sitting in my doggone it, my chest, my cedar chest. I pulled it out and I looked on the back and I thought of Vanna right away. Look, Vanna, when I was young, I could, doggone it, what's that called? Anyways, I did my back. Look at that. And because that's what the directions in the kit said to frame it. I don't know what happened to this frame, but I was excited to see that. And then this is the one I had made my grandmother, and this hung in my grandma's kitchen for years. And I had a very, very special relationship with my grandma. I was the only granddaughter, 5 grandsons, and me. And I could get anything out of my grandma. I go, I'm your only granddaughter, and she'd be like, okay. And so, but this hung. My grandma was always cold, and she loved tea. She didn't have one of these stoves though, but I just reminds me of her every time I look at it. So yeah, there's that. So what's next? My whips. I counted. I have 7 whips right now. I'm not going to show you all 7. I'm just going to give you a couple. My first whip, and this is the first bag that I ever got. It's made by So Much to Love. I got this. This was gifted to me from Mary Kroll, who I met at my first ever cross-stitch retreat at the Fancy Works retreat in Indiana, in southern Indiana, in between Terre Haute and Bloomington. From the Fancy Workshops did it. Put on that retreat. I went last year. I didn't know anybody. I kind of knew Vanna from Flosstube. She was the first person I've ever followed. I followed her blog first, and then followed her Flosstube, and Becky, the obsessed stitcher. So those were the only 2 people I kind of knew. So this was like the scariest thing ever that I did. No, it's not the scariest thing I ever did, but it was pretty scary to go off by myself. I've never stayed in a hotel by myself, so this was like. But McCormick's Creek is lovely. It's lovely. So anyways, Mary, I sat at the table with Becky and Terry from California, and Ruth and Norma from New York, and Mary from Detroit. And Mary and I really, I hit it off with all the ladies. They're all lovely, lovely ladies. But Mary and I sat next to each other, and we just became fast friends. And I love Mary. But I talked about my love for Star Trek. Now, I didn't always love Star Trek, but I married a Trekkie, and so I've been converted that I love Star Trek. I love Star Wars too, because I grew up with that. So in this one is a Lizzie Kate, and I'm sad to see that they are retiring. But this is the Snow Story Flippets, 155, 156, and 157. And I'm putting them all together. On one piece. And please don't ask what fabric it is or what count it is, because I am I just pick out fabric. I just look at the fabric and I feel it and I look at it and then I go, oh, I like that color, or oh, I like that, how big it is or whatever. I couldn't tell you. I could look at a piece and go, yeah, that's Lugana, because I really love Lugana, but that's the best I could do. Otherwise, I have a stash of it, and if the shop I bought it stapled what it is on it, then I know, but otherwise I have no clue. But I picked out this fabric. This is as far as I got. I picked out this fabric. I hope you can see that okay. Yeah, you can. At my L&S, she helped me pick it out, and she cut it for me, and she serged it for me. My local L&S is the Counted Needle in Bloomington, Illinois, and it's for sale. If you would like to purchase an L&S, let me tell you, some days it's really tempting, but I'm not a businesswoman. I would spend more money than I would be making, because I would just be spending money and thinking I needed stuff. So this is how far I am. So that is that one. And then the second one is not the second project bag I've ever owned, but this one was made special for me by Mama Joan, because I had this fabric, because you could tell I love Snoopy. I love the Cubs too. Today's opening day. But I love Snoopy. I'm wearing my Snoopy shoes. I have my Snoopy mug. The world's filled with Mondays. The Meyer men are not really thrilled with me and my Snoopy addiction, because I have Tervis tumblers, I have mugs, I have lots of stuff, lots of Snoopy stuff. But when I go out to Joann's or wherever and I see Snoopy fabric, I have this compulsion, I have to buy it. And my husband will go, well, what are you going to do with that? And I go, it's Snoopy fabric. What do I need to, what? It's Snoopy fabric. So after I had been at the Minnesota retreat, that Michelle Garrett, right? Yeah, Michelle Garrett put on. Crap, I hope I haven't got that wrong. And I saw Mama Joan's bags and was gifted a Mama Joan bag when we went to that retreat. I was like, I got some Snoopy fabric that will make an awesome project bag. So I sent Mama Joan this fabric, and she made me this fabulous project bag. She made me several out of the fabric that I had, and she has a nice, it's got a see-through so I can see what's in it. But Mama Joan did that for me. And so if you need some project bags, contact Mama Joan, because she does custom orders. Because I had her make, these are her standard size, and then I had her make a bigger one that I'll show you later. Because sometimes I have bigger projects I want in there. So, and I hope you didn't freak out that I just showed you a chart. But this chart, I don't have the picture with me, but this chart is from 1976. I believe it was a Woman's Day or a McCall's magazine, and my mom she loved those magazines. My mom always had several magazines in the house, and she would tear out those projects that she thought maybe she would make one day. And so she pulled this one out, and this is my working copy. There is no copyright on it anywhere. There is no mention of the artist or the designer. There's nothing. It's just in the magazine. So I think I'm pretty safe in sharing this. But this is of Mother Mary, and I'm making this piece for a young man, Andrew O'Brien, who I think he started going to school with my oldest son, Thomas, in junior high, and they went to high school together, Catholic school, and Andrew is going to be ordained a priest this May. for the Diocese of Peoria, and he is the nicest young man. I just adore Andrew, and he's going to make an awesome priest. And so I'm making this for him. I don't think he's going to see this on Flosstube. But this is how far I've gotten on this. I've picked out the blues because Mary is blue. I'm doing this, I'm going to take my best guess. I believe this is an even weave. It's a pretty tight count, but this is stitching with 3 threads over 4, and that's what the directions said. And so that's what I'm doing, and I think it looks lovely. I'm hoping to frame it with a round frame. If not, it'll be a round mat. But if you'll notice, it's an interesting way to chart, because look, like all this section is supposed to be in 3 and 3 here, and this section is in color number 1. Now they had done it in grays, dark, medium, and light, and so I just switched it to blues for Mary. I think this time when I do it, I think I'm gonna use a gold Krynic. That's my thought. We'll see how it turns out when I get there. This is the second time I've made this piece. I don't have a picture of it. I gave it away. I did for a friend who was becoming Catholic, and I did it on monk's cloth because that's as big a square as this is, and I don't mind stitching on monk's cloth. I've done a couple things on monk's cloth when I want something really big, a big wall hanging. I did a Chicago Blackhawks emblem for my little brother back when he was, back a long time ago, and he's got that hanging in his house now. And the third whip that I'm working on is a Lizzie Kate, the 4th of July, and I started this when a couple days before I went to the Indiana retreat. I just got back. It was just this past weekend, and we were supposed to do, if we wanted to, a patriotic pincushion. And I got really brave, and I found this beautiful Lady Liberty drum roll. I've never made a drum roll before. I didn't read the directions very well. I didn't pick out the called for fabric, so I started stitching like I normally do, 2 over 2, and it was going to be the drum roll was going to be this big. And luckily I hadn't finished the top, the Lady Liberty, and I was like, oh crap. But I love the fabric, and so I restarted, and I did over 1, and I've never done over 1 before, but I loved it, and the stitching part, if you follow me on Instagram, it turned out pretty good. At least that's what people said. It turned out pretty good. But then I went to put it together. Oh no, it was bad. It was one of those Pinterest fails. It was really, really bad. But I brought it with me to retreat, and I showed it to Vanna, and she just giggled and said, I said, can you save it? And so she saved it. It should be in the mail. I should be getting it any day. So I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited about that it's saved. But I didn't have anything to participate in the exchange. So I thought, oh, I could just whip this out. Well, yeah, I didn't get it done. So I just didn't participate. I was kind of bummed, but it's okay. It's okay. So next up, haul. I really, really every year say that I'm going to stitch from stash. All year, I'm going to stitch from stash. Last year, I made it until market, and then my husband didn't know what to get me for Valentine's Day, and I must have just showed him, I showed him something, like I always show him the pictures, and he saw the Let Freedom ring, and I talked about it, how cool it was and everything. Well, he bought it. So then I saw something else, and I bought that too, and that was kind of the downfall. I didn't stop buying. I'm really bad. So, of course, this year I said, I'm not going to buy anything. Yeah, that didn't last either. So I bought, from Fancy Work, my LNS, I bought 2 things. I really wasn't going to, but then people were talking about it on a Flosstube, and so I got the heartstring samplery, but based on Little House on the Prairie, and I watched Little House on the Prairie and read those books. In fact, I might get the books again and read them again. And I was like, how can I say no? So I had to buy that. And then, you know, I was looking some more, and I kept telling myself not to. And I just really love these scissor fobs. And this really, I just thought this was so cute, the festive little fob springtime. And so I like to do a combination of bigs and littles. And so I'm like, oh, those are so cute. So I bought it. So then going to the Fancy Works retreat, you're given a store credit and you could order from Market. And so I'm like, oh, well, if I can order from Market, well then, let's spend some money. I shouldn't have said that to myself. So the first thing I ordered was the Anne Boleyn by the Primitive Hare, because I love reading about back then, the historical fiction, historical, like Anne Boleyn and all of that time. I love reading all those books. And so I had to get that. And if you follow me on Instagram, you know, a couple years ago, I did King Henry and all 6 of his wives for my mother-in-law because she loves them. So, and then I saw these adorable animals, the robin, the fox, and the hedgehog. And they were so, I just said, okay, hey, I need that. And of course, I bought the fabric, the Anne Boleyn fabric that's got the printing on it. We'll see what happens with this, because I asked, and I don't think I could make all 4 projects on these 2 pieces. But it was expensive. And then, you know, you had to have the pin, the adorable hat pins of each of them. So I got those. And then while I was there at the retreat, I was not going to buy anything else because I got all of that. And that was over my allowed money, or my money I was gifted through the going. But I have 2 of my boys have moved out, and they always tease me when they leave. You have to call to say you got there if you're leaving here and you're going to where you live. And I can't call their places home. That's not their home. This is their home where they live. And so for my older son, I made Home is Where Your Mom Is. And it's a real pretty, it's a little house with a little door. And Thomas has it up in his room. And I've been looking for something for my next son, Ben, who's moved out as well. And nothing was jumping out at me. Nothing was. And then I saw this piece. Home is where your mom is. Just different than what the first one was. I try to do things different for each of my boys. So I got that. And then a couple people were making this, and a couple people at my table were buying it. I don't remember who all bought this, but then I had to have this one. I have this thing about patriotic, and I just love that. Isn't it pretty? This is One Nation by Bygone Stitches. And I just really, really like that. In fact, I got the last copy from Fancy Works at the retreat. And then all these things about bees. I like bees. I have we live on 3/4 of an acre. And a couple years ago, a friend who does she works with at-risk youth to help them graduate from high school, and they do a project every year. And a couple years ago, they made bee houses, and they're wooden houses, and inside they've taken corn husks that, you know, they're all dried out, and they've hollowed out the center, and they shove them in there, and they're a bee house, and it's meant to attract bees and help the bees that we're losing. And so I have it out by my flowers that I plant with all the attracting the bees and the hummingbirds kind of thing. And so I like bees. And so I got this needle woman. It says busy as a busy bee. I believe that's what it says. Yes, busy as a busy bee. So I just thought that was a nice little piece. So that was my retreat haul and my market haul. Well then, my LNS, as I told you, is up for sale, and she must kind of try to weed things out She's never set a ending date for her shop. So she does this thing where we could get a discount if you fill out her card. You know, you spend so much money and you get credit. And so I got a message that it needed to be used sooner than later. So I went in there because it was spring break and I was stitching, and what else should I do? So I found this Lizzie Kate Springtime, which she just talks about in her blog that I read today. More bees and bunnies and flowers. I'm kind of willing spring to happen. It's starting to. Up here, the grass is turning greener. I saw some back in my property. I saw in a kind of a secluded area, the tulips are starting to come up. So, and then I wanted some fabric because I really try not to keep buying patterns. I try to like increase my fabric stash because that doesn't count. And so I found this piece. It says it's Belfast 32 count. Hand-dyed fabric, new for 2018, and I just thought it was really pretty. You can see the modeling pretty good. My lighting must be better than I thought. So I got that, and then that night after I'd gotten home, I got a message that like an automated order that I have for the farmhouse Christmas was in, so I had to go back, which, you know, I twist my arm, okay. And so this is what came in. I haven't done any of these yet. I did have my LNS cut me a piece of fabric to do all of them together as one big piece, and I haven't started anything. I just can't decide if I want a huge piece or do I want the smalls for ornaments or flat folds. I haven't decided yet. So I haven't started that. Okay, so I am the queen of making things, and if they're not for somebody, then they kind of end up going in a pile, and I don't get them done. I don't fully finish them. So that's been my goal lately, is to, sorry, I'm like reaching out of the camera, finish stuff. So last year I got these ornaments done. This was from a kit, and I wish I could remember what the kit was, but I don't, sorry. It's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer series. Here's Hermie, isn't he cute? And I had him done in time for Christmas, all set to go, but I didn't get the cording done. So this weekend, Vanna taught a class and they worked on cording, and I watched them again because I tried once. I've got the cording tool and I failed miserably. So I went to my little room where I have my hook hanging, and I put on Vanna's video and her tutorial on how to cord and watched it through maybe twice. And then I worked on my cording. So here's cording with just one length of thread that came in the kit. Like, they give you extra red or white. You could do, you know, whatever you want. But I just did red. I just wanted to try it out. And I was pretty excited. This was with 2 cords of thread, and you could see how thick that it is compared to the one. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not a cording failure. So then I started this last year at Retreat in Indiana, and I love this thing. And so I got it. I cut out the backing myself. It was quite the chore, but I got it. And I couldn't decide what color to put it on. So I think I'm gonna put it on this yellow. And I'm gonna put cording around here, thick cording. So that's going to mean, and I think I'm gonna do 2 colors. So I gotta get Vanna's tutorial out and practice with 2 colors for a little bit to figure out that. And I did have some finishes at Retreat. To be fair, Suzanne Carroll, to be fair, I started these well before I came to Retreat. Suzanne Carroll was teasing me that I am like such a fast stitcher. But all I had to do at Retreat was to get the beads done on this Lizzie Kate. Sorry, I don't have the name of it. I think it's called Easter, maybe. I'd never done beads before, and the night that I went to get it done, my needle didn't fit through because, like, duh, you need a beading needle. And I went to my LNS one day and didn't come home with a beading needle. So while I was sitting at retreat, somebody said, well, if you have a Mill Hill kit, a beading needle comes in there. And I happen to have a Mill Hill kit with me. So I got that out and got those beads done, and I'm pretty excited about it. I'm hoping to get it done by this weekend. And then I got this done, and this is from Just Cross Stitch, the April magazine, and here it is. I knew I wouldn't get March done in time. Well, I might have, but then I really wanted April for the start of April. So I changed the color. This is one of the new DMC colors, and I apologize that I don't have it down here with me to show you. I just really love that blue. I just think that's such a pretty blue. I'm kind of thinking that maybe I should make it again and change the pattern just to do sunshines, so that maybe we could get some sunshine and this rain and muck could go away. So that is what I finished. Now let's talk about what I got in at the retreat, the Fancy Works retreat. So the first day when we first got there, at our table were these fabulous little lights. Check that baby out. And it has a USB little cord to recharge it. It is a bright light. I took my OT light with me, and I didn't need it. This is by Daylight, and this is really nice. I really like it. And you just touch it lightly. You could dim it. You could keep touching it lightly and make it be a different, ever bright you want it. And then, so that was at our tables. And then we got this, it's called Knitter's Pride. It's this little book, and you open it and you turn it inside out, and it makes a nice easel stand. And on this side, it's magnetic so that you can put your chart on there, and it's got this big one so you could like help you line, follow your line of where you're stitching. There's an ink pen. It comes with a pen, and there's a little pouch to put your knitting needles. If you were a knitter, put your knitting needles in there. So that was a nice gift. I really like that a lot. A lot. And then we got charts different times. But I don't remember, I apologize to Diana at Fancy Works, I don't remember what charts I got when, and there was a free table there, and I kind of intermixed my free charts and what you guys gave, so I apologize that I don't remember what was what, but I got quite a lot. The first night we had a drawing, and I won this by Sue Hillis, and I've been to Paris. I absolutely love that. Looks like the Eiffel Tower made to look like scissors. They did have a Sue Hillis trunk show, and Sue did come to made an appearance as well, and that was very nice. She's a lovely lady. And then when we came one time, we got this fabulous bag. These bags were sitting on our seats, and there were patterns in 2 little charts inside, and then a little thing of straw needles. So that was very nice. It was very nice. But the other fun thing was that I won the big prize. They had it on Saturday night. Everybody's names were put in, and this gift had a high value on it, and I won it. I don't usually win. I should have gone and bought a lottery ticket after I won this, because I'm not a big winner for big prizes, but I won this. So what did I get? I got Ivana, the Twisted Sisters project bag. Isn't that lovely? and a project roll. She has the tutorials on her site. So this undoes, and you put your project in there. I'm sure you guys have seen that many times. Different people's floss tubes. And inside, there were more goodies. If that wasn't enough, I got an adorable matching pin keep. I got scissors and a matching scissors fob. Isn't that adorable? I got a pack of needles. I got what Vonna was working on, this chart by Little House Needleworks, Welcome Spring. The threads for it, all of them, Classic Color Works and DMC, and 32 count Sandcastle Joblin to stitch on. And if that wasn't enough, I got a $100 finishing certificate from Vonna. Now, how nice was that? This was like the most awesome prize ever. I was like tickled pink. I hope I didn't piss anybody off because I happened to be sitting next to Vonna as well. It was not rigged. We had nothing to do with the thing, but I was so excited. I was so excited. So that is that. So those are all my finishes and FFOs and those. Okay, so I'm gonna steal from Heidi, and whoever, I don't know if Heidi stole this or not, but I've seen this on Heidi's, you know, what you're all into. And this was an enabling. She knows who she is. I got my first little package from the Jabco Button Company. I love Jabco buttons, and they're made in Illinois, or their company's in Illinois. So this one, the March edition, was lemonade buttons. Check these babies out. Here's the smoothie pack. All different sizes of yellow, beautiful yellow buttons. There is the sprinkle pack. These adorable tiny buttons that are yellow. These blue, this is called Ocean. Aren't those look like the ocean? Those are just adorable. And then this pack is called, it's the Button Lovers Club, Lemonade Buttons. Oops, sorry, I'm crooked. So I can't wait every month to continue to get these buttons, and I'm gonna have to come up with a project for them. I love those. And then I love tea. I used to love Diet Coke. I haven't had a Diet Coke in a lot of years. And so when I quit Diet Coke, I started drinking an Arnold Palmer unsweet iced tea and lemonade. It's my favorite. And our local McDonald's quit selling lemonade. So, but Steak and Shake does a good job. So I drink iced tea, but I drink a lot of hot tea. And I found this at my grocery store, Prince of Wales. It is so good. It's really good. So that's what I'm into right now. And this was a fluke. This was the only one on the shelf, and they didn't even have it in their system, so I don't know how I got it. But they gave it to me for free because they didn't have it in their system. How cool is that? But I'm gonna have to like get online and see if I can order some of that. And then the last two, I set a goal for this year that I was going to read a book every single month. I love to read. It's kind of like, am I going to read or am I going to stitch? You know, not always the two of them can happen because I'm not going to stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning. So one of my favorite authors is Elizabeth Berg. I love Elizabeth Berg. And this adorable tale, the story of Arthur Truelove. Elizabeth Berg's an Illinois woman. I love this book. Oh, I cried. It's a cry book, sorry. But I love this book. And Elizabeth Berg is delightful. If you go on Facebook, Elizabeth Berg is on Facebook, and that's where she journals, and she writes all these little stories, and I just love her. I just love her descriptions. It's a very feel-good. I want to feel good. A lot of times work is stressful. 5 men in my house is stressful. I just need to feel good. And so that's... And then I read this book this year by Jessica Shattuck, Women in the Castle. And this book is set in Nazi Germany after their defeat. And there was this castle that these ladies had. And their husbands were part of the plot to assassinate Hitler. And their wives didn't know. And then it was them coming out of the ashes and them you know, living afterwards. It was a really good book. It was really good. So I kind of have a very eclectic thing that I love of reading. So here you go. Here's my first floss tube. I got to give shout outs to Becky, the Obsessed Stitcher, and Vanna, and Ginger Gerald, and all my favorite Bendy Stitchy, and Farmgirl, and the lovely McKenna at Stitching in Sequins, and many others, because I follow lots and lots of people. I try to. I'm really bad about it because life, you know, life happens. So then I end up binge watching. So I hope you will subscribe. I hope to see you soon. I can't wait to see what other people are stitching, and have a great day.